Hi viewers!
Welcome to InfoBip.
Welcome to Onboarding Academy session on BIP Life with particular focus on intercultural communication.
We are your new colleagues. This is Wendy, and she's a mastermind behind Onboarding Academy.
And this is Natasha. She will guide us through cultural impact on everyday life and communication in InfoBip.
Even if you don't have a working experience in a multinational company, in today's world, you must have learned about the importance of understanding different cultures. Our cultural background is what makes us so different and unique.
But before we list those differences, are there any similarities that bring us together?
Let's see. So we are both female.
We both have dark hair.
We are similar heights.
And we both speak English.
And we both speak English.
Yes.
And there are more, maybe not so visible ones.
Like education. We both have university degrees.
And also we both work in multinational companies.
Do you have any siblings? I do.
I do, only I'm the oldest one.
Me too.
Oh, so I would also say that we are both introverts.
Yes.
So now we are going to talk about differences, but in another format. Ready?
Ready, let's go.
Let's go. Generation X.
Millennial.
Married.
Single.
2 kids.
No kids.
European.
Asian.
Croatian.
Mandarin.
Yes.
No.
Croatian.
Chinese.
You can easily see that Wendy and I are coming from different cultural backgrounds, just by looking at us. But what if differences are not so obvious and they are more hidden? Then, in communication, we tend to assume. And when we assume, our starting point is always our own culture. Whereas, on the other side, there is another person with its own cultural background, and more importantly, understanding that is coming from that cultural background. Because our culture reflects on how we communicate, and not only in physical world, but in virtual environment as well. It affects how we write emails, how we respond to pings, how we handle online meetings. So wherever is communication, you have particular culture of 2 or even more people in the background.
How we perceive the world around us. We observe. We observe behavior, we collect data visually and through sound. Then we interpret all those data that we have collected. We interpret those signals and we think what that means. So we evaluate. Good versus bad. Comfortable, non-comfortable. Normal, unnormal. Happy versus sad. Understand or misunderstanding. In this perception of the world around us, these 2 last steps are influenced by culture. Let's see since when we are influenced by our culture.
But there is another part of our mind where these associations that are picked up, sucked out of the culture and sit there, they're there all the time. Where do they come from? One of the things that we've been very interested in is looking at young children. How do young children come to have the beliefs and attitudes that they do? Do they learn it slowly as they grow up and so on? And our data suggests no, that children are very open to what's going on in their culture. And at a very early age, at ages like 2 and 3, we can see evidence that they have in their minds attitudes and stereotypes of the sort we see in adults. So what we now know is that these are picked up pretty quickly, and that they exist in the minds of children even at that age. But they're not always visible, but we can see them in things like conversations.
Culture is our collective programming that we have that makes us operate in a certain way. At least Gert Hofstede said that, and I think that there is no better place to use this software-hardware analogy than Infobip. What I like about this analogy is that culture is not hardware. Culture is not within our DNA. It's not skin color, gender, hair color, height. Culture is software. For an example, if you were born to two German parents and grown up in, let's say, Argentine, you are not going to have the same perception of the reality. You are not going to have the same value framework as if you would have grown up in a purely German context.
Are you seriously considering her as a candidate?
Just don't trust
She's a
her.
woman.
She's a
This
woman.
is a man's
She's
job.
clearly not educated.
Really, does she even speak English?
That's not me. I'm not like that. You call it an honest mistake. Science calls it a blind spot. Our unconscious mind is a mysterious and powerful thing. It makes 90% of our decisions without us even knowing it. Our brains are overloaded with 11 million pieces of information every second. Yet we can only process about 40 of them. So we're wired to make cognitive shortcuts, using past experiences to make assumptions. And you know what happens when we assume? Our unconscious mind can put us on autopilot, determining where we sit, who we eat lunch with, who we turn to for advice, and who we choose to offer a helping hand. Living our lives with blind spots can put us in a tunnel. Same point of view, same decisions, same outcomes. We can find ourselves trapped in the land of snap judgments and misconceptions. We've all been on both the giving and receiving end of blind spots. Think about it. Who's talented? Who's able? Who can I trust? Who belongs? We've all been there. Blind spots are part of the human condition. Our choices have consequences for us and the people we interact with. By accepting that blind spots exist, we can stop. Imagine what possibilities exist if we could do it all over again. Different perspectives, inclusive relationships, diverse networks, better outcomes, seeing people for who they really are. People like you, with unlimited potential. We all have blind spots. Once you accept that you have them, you can choose to do something about it. It's time to check your blind spots and focus on what's possible.
So, how to overcome cultural differences in multinational and multicultural environment? And intentionally I'm saying multinational and multicultural because you can have multicultural environment even within one nation. First thing we should all do is to observe. Let's see how people talk, let's see how people respond, and let's see how people react. Once we observe people's reaction, we will be able better to direct our communication in a way that is acceptable. Second thing is stay clear. Clear sentences, yes, structure, and sometimes you won't have very clear assignments. So I'm not saying clear assignments, but clear sentences. And the third thing, don't assume. Especially if the message you receive is not something you expected or it's not something you're used to. So try to clarify, is your understanding the same as the understanding of the person that was sending you this message. And by doing so, actually, you will be learning about communication with that person, and also you will share some knowledge with that person as well. You will be giving also a message to the other person that different cultures communicate differently. Try to adapt and learn, and think of this multicultural environment as an opportunity given to you to learn something, not only about other cultures, but about yourself as well. Because as long as we are learning and adapting to new things, we are keeping our brain active. And this is what helps us, among other things, to be innovative. And by being innovative, we are supporting one of our core values. That doesn't maybe differ much from any other team, but keep open-minded attitude to other people, to their ideas, to their cultures. Because by keeping open-minded attitude and by talking to your colleagues and to your teammates as they are equally important, and as their background is equally important, and as their contribution is equally important, and at the same time then them being different than you are actually supporting diversity. And diversity is one of the fuels of innovation and one of the drivers of innovation. Supporting diversity means that you don't consider yourself or your culture or any other culture or background more valuable. But all cultures and all backgrounds are equally important, or ideas are equally important while we are discussing them. So allow your colleagues to express their own talents, unique talents. And this is how we are actually capitalizing on diversity.